This 26-minute video made myself and my business partner nearly $1 million. It's gotten over 900,000 views, added 19,000 subscribers, and made us over 2.5K in AdSense. But most importantly, it's put about $800,000 in our pockets, and I'm about to reveal how. Now, most people think the best way to make money from YouTube is through AdSense or sponsorships, but that's just not the case. You make the most dollars per follower on a channel by selling your knowledge on the back end. So if you're an educational content creator or an expert interested in monetizing your knowledge, then watch the rest of this entire video, because I'm about to reveal the simple 3-step process we use to create this video that blew up our channel and our business. And this works in any niche, whether you teach cooking, tax preparation, dog training, it doesn't matter. So if you're ready to take your channel and your business to the next level, grab a pen and paper and let's get into it. So now the entire point of this video is that it's positioned as solving the #1 problem, or helping them, your ideal prospect, achieve the #1 desire that they have so that they can achieve their dream outcome, right? And so what it'll be positioned as typically is like a masterclass of sorts in order to help them get to their dream outcome, like I said, right? And so the 3 main things that we're going to be doing with this video, that we want to be doing throughout the entire video, is #1, building positive beliefs, right? Building positive beliefs that what you have to offer them will actually get them to the outcome that they want to achieve. We'll kind of cover how you do that throughout the rest of this video. #2 is that we want to go ahead and break limiting beliefs, right? So ultimately, everyone has limiting beliefs that hold them back from actually being able to achieve the outcome that they want, right? And so if you want to make the sale, you've got to go ahead and break those limiting beliefs. Again, we'll cover in this video how to do that. So the third thing that we want to do is that we want to increase pain points. So ultimately, most people live in denial. They have pain because they're not where they want to be, but they kind of kid themselves and don't really think about those pain points. And so as you throughout the video bring those up, it'll have them feeling emotions related to those pain points, will ultimately cause them to take action to get out of that pain and into the situation that they want to be. So it's really important that you do all 3 of those things throughout your entire video, and they will all build up together so that at the end you have enough in each of those so that you can make the sale. So the first thing we need to do is the promise, okay? And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna explain the big benefit and the transformation that we will be showing them how to achieve, okay? Ultimately, if they're watching your video and they're gonna learn something and learn how to achieve a certain outcome, they're trying to go from point A to point B, right? And so we need to remind them of point B, because that is what drives them, their dream outcome, their dream state, where they want to be, right? And so the first thing we need to do is remind them of that big benefit, which is the whole main reason they are watching the video, right? We also, what we do in this promise phase is we explain what they don't need in order to achieve it. Now, this is playing into breaking those limiting beliefs, right? A lot of people are going to think they need certain things. For example, that they need to be rich in order to get rich, or that they need to have a certain bit of equipment in order to lose weight, or whatever that might be. So you need to explain everything that they don't need to have in order to actually get there. Now, it's important that when you create this hook, that you use and state the big dream outcome, right? And make the audience think, okay, wow, like I have to watch this video if this is actually true. That's the feeling you want them to have after they have that first like 10 seconds that they watch.
In this video, I'm going to be revealing the exact steps I took to go from my JV high school and local Sunday league team at 16 to signing with the same professional academy that developed Alphonso Davies and getting called up to represent my national team at 18.
And then also the kind of 3 main things you want to think about here in this promise phase is curiosity, big benefit, and then the authority. Right? So curiosity, just driving massive amounts of curiosity, like, wow, I really need to watch the rest of this video. Big benefit, as in the big thing that they're going to achieve, which we spoke about earlier. And finally, authority, providing information about why you're someone who's actually worthy to speak on this subject. One important thing to remember is that in this first section, you're selling the rest of the video. You're not yet selling your product or service or anything like that. You're selling them on actually watching the rest of the entire video. So from here, what we're going to do is that we're going to use your students, and we're going to use third-party sources to prove that this is actually exciting, real, and that they should actually pay attention. Especially in the direction that social media and YouTube is moving towards nowadays, trust is at a massive deficit. So this is really important that you provide proof and show that this is something real, because people are automatically going to think it's not real. They're going to assume it's not real. So you showing proof early on is crucial, right? If you don't have students or people or real life examples that you can use third-party sources, such as, for example, using someone who has a lot of credibility. If you're making a video about finance, talking about Warren Buffett says XYZ and showing a quote from from him. By doing that, you bring in credibility as well. Now, what you want to do here as well is that you want to expand a little bit on the promise. So continue to build out what you were talking about in the promise phase, right? To really get them to buy into watching the remainder of the video. One really good thing that you can do here is offer a free checklist or PDF or something for free that they will get if they stay to watch until the end of the video. This gets a lot more people to buy in, and ultimately you can tell them to comment something and you can send that to them at the end of the video, right? You might think that people just skip to the end of the video and watch that, but that's not the case, and having that will keep a lot more people watching throughout the entirety of the video. So at the beginning of your story, you want them to relate to where you're at. This is going to help to increase pain points. Remember the 3 things that we mentioned at the beginning that you want to be doing throughout the entire video? This is going to serve the purpose of increasing those pain points because you're going to tell the story of where you were at, which ideally is where they are at right now, and it's going to bring their current situation to light. From there, what you're going to do is unravel how you managed to figure out how to make the transformation that they want to achieve, right? That is going to increase the positive belief because they're going to trust you as you show that you did exactly what they want to do. And it's also going to break limiting beliefs because you're going to show you were in their situation and now you're where they want to be, right? Your transformation should inspire them, and you should end on now being a teacher and helping other people to achieve the same things. And this is where you can now introduce case studies, proof, talking about your students. So now at this point, we've completed step 1. We've locked them in, we've done the hook, we've provided a story, we've provided a promise, we've expanded on it. They are ready to watch the remainder of this video. And now we have to get into the actual meat and potatoes, get into the actual content. Now, the purpose of the nurture section and your content here is to actually provide a bridge to show them exactly what they need to do, not getting too much into the how, but show them what they need to do in order to achieve their dream outcome, right? And also showing how easy and simple it actually is to do so. Here, one thing to remember is that you want to show them the what, not the how. Your product or service is going to cover the how. The what is what you cover here so that they know what they need to do, but then they get the feeling, okay, but how do I actually go and do it? And that's where you're going to pitch your product. We're going to take this opportunity to have these steps remove any objections or limiting beliefs that they might have about actually achieving the outcome, and obviously increase positive beliefs as well in terms of showing how simple it is to do it. You're going to use this to install clarity and certainty in your solution and your process for achieving the dream outcome. So for example, with this video we did for ZTH, it was very simple. We first of all showed them that they needed to master the basics, because we were obviously teaching them how to improve in the sport of football or soccer, depending on where you're from. So first they needed to master the basics, then they needed to develop an X factor, and once they'd mastered their skills, which was step 2, then they go ahead and actually needed to get trials with better teams. So that made it a very simple 3-step process that they could boil down this massive goal that they had of becoming a pro academy player and becoming a standout player into 3 simple steps. Now, one thing you want to do as well in this part is at the end of every single step, you want to go ahead and introduce 1 or 2 success stories from your students. It's okay if you don't have these, you're just going to focus on other aspects for now. But if you have success stories, this is where you drop them, just as we did here in the video with ZTH. What this does is, again, massively increases those positive beliefs and conviction that this is the step-by-step that they need to do in order to get where they want to be, but also increasing positive beliefs in you and your ability to teach them and show them how to get where they want to be. So that's step 2 done. Now we need to move on to step 3, which is the pitch and the close. At this point, we've gone through the hook. They're locked in for the entire video, and we've now actually provided some value to them. We've showed them what they need to do to achieve their dream outcome. We've increased their positive beliefs. We've broken some limiting beliefs by showing how simple it is and telling your story. And we've brought out the pain points because we've kind of got them to relate to where you used to be. So now we need to go in and introduce your product as the solution, because at this point, your audience should be craving a solution. They should be thinking, okay, what do I do now? What do I do to actually solve this? How do I achieve these same outcomes that all your students and yourself actually achieved? But before we do that, we need to do one very important thing. We need to create doubt on them going ahead and actually doing this alone, right? Because they might watch this, get inspired, and decide to go just try it out on their own. And so to do this, you want to very simply contrast and talk down on actually going ahead and trying to do this on their own without any expert guidance. Once that's done, you've kind of taken away the only main objection that they might still have, which is, okay, this all sounds good. Well, let me go try this out on my own, right? But now once you've actually taken that away, all that's left is, okay, so what do I do? And this is where you then introduce your product as the solution that you decided to create because of the feeling that they have right now of well, what do I do to get to where I want to be? A simple way to transition into this is to simply say, and that's why I created, boom, get into it. At this point, you're going to go ahead and pitch your product or service, and you're going to do it in a very simple format, right? What you're going to do is break down your process, again, into a 3 to 5 step process, a pillar process, so that they can understand each step that they need to take. And then you pitch each pillar in a simple manner. You're going to start with the features, very briefly explaining like what they get tangibly. Then you're going to cover the benefits of those features, what they're actually going to be able to achieve. And then you're going to cover the benefit of the benefit. Because again, people buy based on emotion, and then justify later with logic. But in order to buy based on emotion, we need to make sure that we talk about the benefits of the benefits so they can start to picture that in their mind. Finally, you want to wrap that up with a case study, with proof, so that they can actually believe that this is possible for them to achieve, right? Once you've done that and gone through the entire process, you then want to go ahead and price drop the exact price that it's going to be to actually go ahead and work with you, if it's the case where you're selling a course directly like we were. And then all that's left is to actually go ahead and close. And the close is very, very simple. Once you've made the call to action to tell them exactly what to do, it's very important that you make it super clear. As you can see here on screen, we're showing exactly what they need to do, the next step, and showing it on screen as well physically so that they know what they need to click. There's also the factor of making sure that we get those emotions on a high, because at this point, we've done every single thing we need to do, but there's some people that are still going to be on the edge. And so we need to remind them of the choice that they face. And it's what I like to call the crossroads close. At this point, there's 2 paths that they can take, right? They can go ahead, they can continue doing what they've been doing their entire lives. They can try it on their own. They can continue being in the negative existence that they're in place right now, which they've just been reminded of throughout the entire video. Or they can go ahead and join you, your students, and all the people who have decided to actually make a change on the second path. And then you want to paint that as the positive path, just to really create a dichotomy in their mind of the 2 paths that they can take right now and make it simple. Because at this point, a lot of people might be overwhelmed and have a lot of thoughts going through their mind. And so you want to make it very simple. You've got path A, negative. You've got path B, positive. And that's it. Once you've gone over both like we did there, you simply make a final call to action and you end the video. Now, you might think all of this is a little bit overkill and like, is this really necessary to sell your course on playing the banjo, right? Now, with that being said, I understand that, but at the same time, humans love to actually stay in their comfort zone and stay where they are right now and not take any action. So we need to help them actually push them over the edge. And one thing to note as well is that if you're doing this, like I said, to sell a course or something that's a little bit lower ticket and it's a straight sale, you can actually do it in about 10 to 30 minutes long, depending on what the price is and how much you need to cover. And then if you're doing a book a call funnel where you want them to go ahead and book a sales call with you, that can be something a little bit shorter, maybe like 5 to max 20 minutes. Because again, the call is what's going to actually do most of the selling. Whereas with the straight sale funnel, you've got to actually sell it on the video. In case you haven't noticed, this kind of follows the format of one big ad, right? But you don't really notice it. The viewer isn't really disappointed after watching it, as you can see by the comments on our video. One of the greats in advertising, David Ogilvy, said, "There is no need for advertisements to look like advertisements if you make them look like editorial pages, aka like the surrounding content that it's part of. You will attract 50% more readers." So the number here is more like 500%, right? Simply because this looks and feels just like a normal YouTube video. So now that you've learned the structure to make your money printer YouTube video, go ahead and actually give it a try. If you're an expert looking to teach your expertise on social media and you're serious about growing, we do have spots open to work with myself and the team to actually help you be able to monetize your expertise on social media. Again, you don't need it to be successful, but the option is there if you want to be able to get faster results or if you like working with someone in order to make sure that you're doing the right things to get where you want to be faster. Hopefully you found the video valuable. Like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.